What's up, man?
What's
What's
good? How are you,
good?
Jacob?
Good, Brad. Oh, God damn, I did that again. Oh, I was gonna say Brandon. God.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, anyways, what's going on, man? Glad to fucking have you on, dude.
What's good?
Sorry I fucked that up again. But here we go, everybody. DJ and producer known as Facelift on with me today. Um, the man himself, dude. I'm psyched to have you on. I first saw you and your music through Twitter. I don't know who retweeted it. Someone was retweeting it, and it was a dope ass song. I was like, this slaps. And then I was like, I gotta message him because I gotta see if he'll come on the podcast. So, anyways, that's the story of how I actually messaged you and all that. But dude, good shit.
Thank
Checked
you.
checked a lot of music out. I love it. You've got such a unique style. You throw in the dubstep, but then you have your own unique style to it that, in my opinion, I have not heard. And I know I'm like jumping the gun on everything we're gonna talk about, but yeah, man, I hope that takes you far because it's something that, like I said, I haven't heard.
I
I don't
appreciate
think I've
that.
heard, at least I haven't, but it's awesome. It's great. It's good. It's good shit.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
pumping. You're like, oh, it starts blushing, hides behind the camera. Anyways, man. So, dude, what you been up to? What's going on with this quarantine stuff? No shows and all that.
I know, right? Just trying to stay productive, stay positive, make sure I'm keeping my mentality in check, let alone like make sure all my friends and family are safe and in check as well, as well as all of you guys. I'm like, times right now are very interesting and it's just best to keep your head level minded and just, stay positive and be one as a community right now. But, other than that, I'm just busting ass, working as hard as I can. I just want to get a lot of work done so I can have a lot of content for you guys because I want to show you guys more of what Facelift has to offer, let alone a storyline and like everything else that we can possibly talk about later on in this podcast.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Though it's important in this time, and I've said it in a bunch of podcasts before, but it's super important in this time to like keep working hard and staying positive, and keeping that mental check. Because I think a lot of people took this time in this quarantine to like relax, which is this is fine. Obviously, if you're super busy all the time, heck yeah, a month where you could be at home and relax is awesome. But at the same time, there's other people that are like me and you, and we're on the come up. We're trying to get things, the ball rolling a little bit. And it's like, dude, this is the time. Everyone's home right now. They can consume, our stuff. There's a bigger chance than ever for our stuff to get out there because everybody's at home and they gotta
Exactly.
listen to something. I mean, they get bored. I get bored. If I'm getting bored and I'm working, someone's bored at home.
Exactly.
But that's awesome, man. So with that being said, you got any new music and stuff coming up the pipeline? You've been working on some
Oh, of
heavy stuff.
course. I have like I can't even explain how much right now, low key, which is kind of aggravating because I have to still sort everything that I want to release, keep secret, or delete. So it's just like the whole process of going about it and just like pretty much it's like a filing cabinet. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
All right, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna let this go with the flow. I'm just gonna let this sit here and just tease and play with people, and then this is just gonna be just nothing. Maybe scrap some ideas from it and throw it into a new project. But other than that, yeah, no, there's a lot of things coming up besides music as well because like I'm also trying to like do some music video type situations. So it's just like I really want to like show people my vision through my music and like show them like really trippy over the top shit. So
make it like a full audio visual experience type of thing. Correct? Yeah, kind of.
pretty much I'm like, yeah, like if not like because it would be tight to also have like I want to be in them, but at the same time I kind of want to take the director position of it. So it's just like,
Yeah, it's very hard to be in it and get your vision out there when someone else is pointing the finger at what to do. Um,
yeah,
Sometimes I don't know. I have some friends like I'm not super artistic and in that sense, but I have a friend that's very artistic and like I could like the podcast design, for instance, the logo on the podcast. I like had the idea of what I wanted, and I like literally drew like a rough sketch. It looked horrible. It looked like a fifth grader drew it, and I gave it to her and I said, "This is what I'm looking for. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you can do." I'll pay for your time, all that stuff, dude. Like 3 days later, she like came back with this design and blew it out of the fucking park. I was like, oh my god, like that's exactly what I was thinking, and better. Like you did it better. So I get what you're saying. Like you got to kind of have a say in how it's gonna be directed and all that jazz.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah,
And like especially you don't want to half-ass it too because like it's your craft, it's your artistry, it's your
oh
brand. You want to
absolutely,
like
yeah,
best represent it 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. So it's just like
yeah. It's
you
your
got to do
baby.
whatever
It's
you
your
got to do to
baby.
make it
You gotta keep it in.
best
You gotta
stand out.
protect it. It's your baby.
Exactly. Like literally.
Oh, that's too funny. So I'm curious to know kind of like how did you get your beginnings and your starting? Like when did it hit you kind of that you were like, I'm gonna start producing music and DJing?
It was really random for me to be quite honest, because I've only been doing this for 5 years, and before music ever came into play, my original passion was dirt bike racing.
No
I was like,
way.
yeah, I was actually like growing up to be a professional dirt bike racer. That was like my full on blown dream. Like, thought about it every single fucking day you could possibly think of. Like, it was stupid as hell. And
So did you do like races and all that stuff like out in the woods and through the mud and all that stuff?
no, I never did nationals. I did nationals like several times, but it was more like actual like supercross base where it was like an actual racetrack.
Actual racetrack. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Still very cool. I mean, I've seen that shit on TV. It's like crazy. You're like, oh shit, they gotta go over the bumps. They gotta go over the big jumps, like all that stuff. And I mean, you probably know more than me, but there's like a science to just that. Like it's like the way you go up and then land and I mean, you could talk about it way more than I could.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of physics to it, but I'm like when it came down to it was weird because I was always a fan of EDM before like even thinking of producing music. Like the first tracks I remember hearing were like Mount Eden, Sierra Leone, Zed's Dead, Paradise Circus, like all the OG tracks,
Yeah,
you know what I
amazing stuff.
mean? And it was like weird because I remember like people I don't associate with anymore. They ended up like he had like old school Newmark like CDJs with like the CD insert and all that shit. It was so funny. And he had the setup in his garage where there was like no air conditioner. It was just like hot as hell 24/7. But we were always interested to be in there because the CDJs were in there. And I would always see them spin. And next thing you know, I started spinning, and they just said like you have an ear for this. Like I've ever thought about like pursuing this, and I'm just like, huh, like that's funny. Like I love sports. I'm an extreme sports type person. Like me
Yeah.
and music, like that's hysterical. So after that, I started truly thinking about it, and I was like, oh shit, like what if like I were to do music? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like in the process of growing up, you start maturing and you start thinking a lot more clearly, and like with the whole supercross, motocross scene, it's just like it's a deep sport, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like you can only do it for such a long period of time until you're not able to do it anymore. Let alone
hmm
like if you get into like an accident or
Accident,
something,
right?
to which I don't know how many I've been in. Like I don't know how many crashes I've had on my dirt bike, but it's just like your body can only take so much till it's to a point where like you're in your late 40s or 50. Like I'm 24 and I'm feeling it right now. It hurts like shit, and I just, I was like, shit, maybe I should see what's up with music. Like, I've always loved music, but I never thought I would actually do music. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then, started doing the whole turntable thing. Had a little, I didn't even have a controller at the time. I remember I had like a shitty ass Dell laptop and I had a virtual DJ on it. And I used the keyboard for the actual, like,
Wow. That's even crazier. I
if
know
you're familiar with
exactly.
it, yeah, and like the mouse and all that, it was still like weird as shit, but it worked. You know what I mean? It allowed you to have fun and actually get a
That's even
sense of
more
like
wild because that's like so
mixing and
tricky
all
to have
that
to
shit.
move everything on the keyboards and shit. That's wild. You
Yeah,
did that before you
and
did the actual tables and stuff.
like good times, and
Yeah, for real.
and from there I was like, oh, this is tight. Like I got way more into it, and then the first name I ever started off with was called Bass Parade. And it was weird because like that name got a lot of traction, but it only got traction through mixes. It was only mixes I was putting out.
Right.
So,
No
I was
original
only
stuff,
known for
nothing like that.
mixes. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then I remember I found out about music production and, music theory and all this other fun, shit that's in the world of music, if you want to say the least. And I
Yeah.
was like, damn, I really need to step up my game. Like, this is insane. Like, I'm just doing mixes, but I can like make my own songs. Holy shit! Like, Ableton, Logic's, like FL Studio, like what?
Whole nother
Okay,
world. Yeah, you're just like,
literally a whole nother fucking world. And I ended up like playing with FL Studio for a little bit, didn't enjoy it, and then next thing you know, I switched over to Ableton, and I automatically fell in love. I was just like, "Yo, this is great! Like the format is amazing, the platform is just like very easy to dive into, and like very like just do what you need to do." And ever since from there, I ended up going from Bass Parade to OG Wild Boy
yeah, we
because
talked
I
about
was like,
that
I,
before we
I
got
was just
on.
like, "Oh shit!" Like cool. I did mixes. Now I'm making music. I'm just gonna do OG Wild Boy. But no, what were you gonna say? My bad. I totally cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was saying we talked about that before a little bit before we got on the podcast about your OG Wild Boy. You had like a TikTok for it and stuff like that. You still have, with just the funny stuff
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. No. No. That name was just like absolutely ridiculous. It's just like one of those fucking random names you come up with. Like, oh, cool. Like I took up the next step. Like I just need something to like show people that I'm doing something different, but let alone can have like an outreach.
Dude, I want
So
to see it on a shirt. It's like an origin story type thing. When you get big,
yeah,
you gotta have a shirt that's like OG Wild Boy. People just know that that's your stuff. Like,
like on some really, it's like I still have people hit me up about it. It's so funny, and I have friends that still make fun about it, like with me now. They'll be like "Wild Boy" and
oh,
like
of
all that shit.
course,
And I was
dude.
like,
If I had
"Shut up!"
my friends would be ridiculing me. Like if I on old stuff that I've done, absolutely. Like, friends just hammer that stuff home, bro. Always.
Very
That's what makes us
much.
friends, though. Because we do it right back. I'll do it right back to them. Right back to them.
Exactly. No, that's how it rolls.
But
No.
you're always like, they bring it up, and you're just like, ah, here we go again. Like, I've already been over this.
Exactly.
Here we
Like
go.
shit. Like we're going back down this road. Like I love y'all, but shut up.
Exactly. Guys can be so mean, but at the same time, we're just so close. When we're being mean,
Exactly.
when we're being mean is when we're the closest to somebody.
Literally, that's when y'all know you're fam.
Literally,
And
absolutely.
with OG Wild Boy, it was interesting because like it started taking off in the direction I wanted it to. Like I was having shows, like I had like two headlining shows, all that shit. And it was weird because when I started seeing it progress, it was random because I'll tell like this is literally how it happened. Like I was doing the whole OG Wild Boy project, blah 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 blah. And I was driving to my friend's house to Hollywood one day, and I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything that would make me think of this. And right as I was passing Universal Studios, like right before you get into Hollywood, like a lightning bolt hit me in the fucking head, and it was just like facelift, and I was just like facelift, facelift,
Was that face
facelift.
left?
Wait, what?
I was like, was that face left?
Oh, I know. Face left.
I'm
Oh
so
shit. I'm dead.
dude, for real.
Oh my god. And it was just
Anyways,
like
facelift.
bugging the shit out of me, yo. Like it was literally bugging the shit out of me. And I remember I got to my friend's house and I had like he was the first person I ever told about it. And after we had this discussion about the whole facelift thing, and like it was weird because like right after it hit me, that's when I started thinking. I was like, "Damn, why am I thinking about this? Why does this sound so catchy? Like this sounds really good. Like I really like this name. Like, and I feel like it best represents me. And like, am I really thinking about doing a rebrand right now while I'm already getting OG Wild Boy to where it needs to be? Like, am I really going there right now? Like again, like this is crazy. But it was like when it came down to brass tacks, I had to because OG Wild Boy, like, don't get me wrong, cool name and all, but it had no platform. It had no meaning.
Mhm.
It had no storyline. It had no characterization symbol type shit that I could show off. Or it was just a fucking name logo.
Yeah.
And every time people came around it, it was just more in the party sense because it sounds like a party. OG Wild Boy.
Absolutely.
So they're like
Yeah.
always wanting to get fucked up and stuff, to which I'm not against. Don't get me wrong. But at the
I
same
like to
time,
have a
it's
good
like
time.
I want people to take me seriously, let alone I want to have a storyline that best represents me and also is going to portray a vision, let alone a tale and, wise words of wisdom for those that, are going through hard times and stuff to get them out of their rough patches. And also, like, just really like I want to make a movement out of this, and that's like the motto with Facelift. It's just lift your face back and show your true colors. Don't be something that you're not. Just be something that you are, and I'll accept you for that.
I did not know that. I was about to ask that same question as to what it stands for since you said you wanted meaning. But dude, I like
Beat
that.
you to the punch.
You did, man. You beat me right to that question. So just life, just lift your face, just lift your face.
Yeah, just lift your face
just
back
lift your
and
face
show your
back.
true colors.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down right now. Um, dude, that's I like that a lot. I like that a lot. If you noticed, my handle is Babs Life, and I kind of wanted to do something to incorporate the same thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. The name came to me one day. It's nothing crazy. I don't have a logo for it, but I have the name Life, and that is, to me, that whole thing was live yourself for every day. In the same sense as you're saying, show your true colors. That's what I want to do with people, with eventually with this podcast, eventually with my pages and all that. It's like, dude, I want to like let people like realize that they can be them, they can express themselves how they want to express themselves, and they can just enjoy living their life. So, dude, that's both of us not knowing that. It's funny that we're on here talking about it, but dude, that's the shit right there. I like that meaning, man. I like that meaning a lot. I like that.
Thank you.
Damn, I can't get over that. I'm stuck. No. So it hit you on the road one day. You're driving, and you're like, I gotta do that. So was the idea to like completely start all over, or like tell the people that were following OG Wild Boy in a sense, like, hey, I'm moving over to this now. This is what I'm sticking with. This is what I love. How was that process basically?
So funny shit. With okay, so I'm not one for social media. If this music thing was not happening or anything, I probably would not be on Twitter. I would not be on Facebook nor Instagram.
Right.
I don't get me wrong, like I enjoyed it and all, it's fun and everything, but it is very time consuming and it's very distracting, and it's just like I just personally don't think it's healthy for people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's best to be in contact with you guys. You know what I mean? And build relationships and like be a community, like I said. But it was so funny because when I did the transition with Facelift, I ended up doing a like, how would I say it? Like 99% like start over. Like I deleted all social medias but Twitter, because out of all social, you're gonna laugh. Out of all social medias, I never fucked with Twitter. I never liked Twitter. I never understood Twitter, and like so many friends would be like, "You need to get on Twitter. Like your mind the way it is, it would be perfect for Twitter. You just talk stupid shit and like." And thankfully, like I don't say everything that is on my mind on Twitter, because that would just be absolutely
you can't.
ridiculous.
You just can't.
you gotta have some boundaries.
Literally, you do. I agree.
And it's like, especially now, it's weird because like I've noticed that a lot of the new audience and like fan base I've been getting are like a good amount of young children, which is like interesting. I'm like, holy shit, like I'm in like, it's like every age group. It's weird, but it makes you like think as a mature adult. It's like, oh damn, like I really want to be mature with my content because like I want to set the right example. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to do that because then that goes against what I go against. Because like, just lift your face back and show your true colors.
Gotcha.
I want to be myself and have fun and all that stuff and show you guys what I do. Like, don't give me like, that's why I kind of want to put in the bio like 18 plus adult humor. Just like as like a standard shit.
In full honesty, like you should do that just because I think that'd be funny. Like I think that alone, like, people would see that. People would see that and be like, "Wait, what? Like this DJ, like, this producer's what? 18 plus content only? Like they're gonna? That's fucking hysterical." I think you should absolutely put that in your bio. I think you should absolutely.
Okay. I got your approval on that. I like that.
Dude, I like that a lot. I think that's hysterical. Like, I think that's very fucking funny. If I went on someone's Twitter right now and it said 18 plus content, I'm probably gonna be like, and first off, you know what I'm talking about because you're on Twitter. Like, there's certain Twitters that like like they're selling their OnlyFans or something like that. So it's all over Twitter. So like they're 18 plus. But like if I saw your account with like your logo and I saw 18 plus, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna check around, and you would look, and there would be nothing 18 plus, but just like you comedic humor,
just
and stuff
raunchy,
like that.
dumb humor.
Oh, just
stoner
dumb
humor.
Stuff. Yeah, and it would be hysterical. I would be like, this is too funny.
Yo, I'm so curious if I could pull my hoodie over my head right now with my ear pods in my ears. This is gonna hurt. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, no.
All right, here we go.
Hold on. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. That seems absolutely miserable. I am just like sweating right now. I love how the air conditioner was on in my house. I should just like turned off and like it automatically the heat came back in. I'm just like, oh.
You gotta flip that beanie back around, man. We gotta see the logo.
Now it just turned back on. Nah, I like it when it's like this. It's nice. It feels comfortable.
Not
I'm
showing
not.
off his
I'm
own
not one
logo.
of those people. I'm like, like, yeah. I might be like that in public. You know what I mean? Where it's like I might wear my merch and stuff. Don't get me wrong, and I understand where you're coming from because it is a perfect marketing standpoint. But it's just like I just want to be myself. Like, yeah, no, I'll show you.
I do want to see it. Yeah, there it is, man. Facelift.
I'm like, I'll put it on anyway to be like any direct. I'll put it on sideways, low key.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
that's just how I am.
technically
You know?
in public, whatever way you wear it, people probably gonna see it. But but I understand. Yeah, I mean, it's always weird. I don't have any of my own merch at the moment, but I've had merch for some other stuff in the past that we had done, and it's a little weird wearing your stuff around because you're like, all right, like I'm not trying to be like this, but at the same time, I am in a sense. But yeah, it's like a yin and yang thing where you're like, eh. But nah, but I did want to see it. That's dope beanie. I love beanies. I have no idea why that is. I just fucking love. If I can get a beanie somewhere, like when I travel, some people get like the little shots. Some people get a keychain. Some people get a snow globe. Some people that's what people collect. Dude, I go get a fucking beanie. I'm like, oh, let me go get a beanie from here.
Literally. That's how I am. I'm like, if it's not a beanie, it's a hoodie. If not a hoodie, something else that's gonna intrigue me.
But yeah, so you restarted with just the Twitter, and you got the Twitter, you've got the Instagram.
Well, no, I had the other social media platforms, and they were, doing better than Twitter at first, and I just like got to that point because like so many friends were telling me like jump on Twitter, jump on Twitter, jump on Twitter. Like what is there to lose? And I was like, you know what, fuck it, like I'll jump on Twitter. Might as well. And it's like so funny because I've been doing the videos that you guys have been seeing on Twitter on Instagram, but in the story.
Story mode. Post that shit, man. Just post it. Just post it up there.
And
do
that's
some
where
Instagram
it just,
TV stuff.
Got to that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna play around on Twitter a little bit, get a better understanding of like what the hell it's about, and then I ended up realizing like, oh, it's just an open thought platform for you to just pretty much discuss whatever the hell comes across your brain.
Definitely semi-open platform. They seem to be pretty open about most stuff. That's for sure. But
like everyone's open on Twitter. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, holy shit, like y'all really don't hold back. But at the same time, it's great because it just shows people are standing for themselves and want to say what they want to say. Yeah. And I respect that.
I like Twitter, and there's other times I really hate Twitter because that's the one thing I do hate about Twitter is it seems like the quote unquote cancel culture and stuff like that. Not to get into that, but like that is very rampant on Twitter at times where it's like, all right, someone tweeted something and you don't like it, and then now they're canceled, and it's like, all right. I mean, sometimes it is justified. I understand, but I don't know if I fully agree with that whole movement of cancel culture and stuff. So I tend to just keep quiet when I see that stuff. I like browse and read through the comments, and I'm reading why are we. Like I always like to try to figure out like why that person's being canceled. Like if I see something about somebody, like someone quoted a tweet over this tweet, and I'm like, and it's got a lot of retweets, and it's like something out there like calling them out. I'm like, all right, I gotta see what's going on now. I gotta. I click in, I like read it, and I try to form my own opinion from reading like what the person said, what they're saying back to people, what people are commenting, but. Damn, sometimes it's just a clusterfuck of people just like, you're over, you're done, it's over for you.
Very much. I'm like, if people want to straight, like, be blunt as hell and just tell you facts straight to your face, they will. And they don't care if you cry, get sad, depressed. Social media, people don't hold back.
Yeah, it definitely shows a lot of people's true colors. I mean, I think social media is great. I really have nothing against it. I mean, I use it all. I literally use it every day to get stuff out. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, social media is ruining us. It's killing us. And I the opposite of that. I'm thinking like, it's really just like you chose to put that out there. Like you're choosing to put that out there. It's not making you bad. That's just who you are. And now you're expressing that in a different way. Like people might not have known you were that way. And then you're putting stuff out there that's crazy. And now they know you're crazy. They just know you're crazy.
Literally. Like that's your own personal opinion. Yeah. But you're batshit crazy. Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, maybe on some people, who knows? But no, dude, that social media grind is tough, man. That's it's tough, but it's awesome at the same time because you can see. I mean, you can probably obviously see how it affects it. It helps and affects stuff.
It does.
It
It
does.
definitely does.
But it's some hard work. Like for a fact, the people that are like huge on social media, and I'm not talking celebrity wise, I'm talking like influencer wise, or people that have gotten big from social media. Like they put in work. Like they did. Like they were
Oh
putting
yeah.
something out every day, and then finally one thing just clicked, and then now like that's all it really takes. If you're putting stuff out every day, like let's just take TikTok for example, because that's the biggest one. And that's like the easiest organic wise. You putting stuff out like every day, and yeah, okay, it's only getting like 100 likes, only getting 200 likes, and that one got 0. But then it takes one. It takes one, and it could get a
Exactly.
million fucking plays. 200,000 people like it. Out of that, 50,000 people decide to hit to follow, and then they go watch all your other shit because they found that one funny. Now your whole profile is looking crazy. It's like, damn, though, it's nuts to think about. That's how quickly it can move, as long as you keep just almost. I mean, it's got to be like quality
It's a
shit
grind.
to grind, and you're definitely like throwing shit up at the wall a lot. Like you're just throwing. Sometimes you're just putting stuff out there, like hoping, and then eventually, man,
Very
sometimes it's
much.
just gonna stick. But
No,
damn, it's a
and
grind.
that's funny you say that because that's literally how it is. Because like I've always been one for detail. I love detail. I've
Hmm.
always want things to have the best representation that I could possibly imagine it for you guys to see it. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
with it was weird because like everyone has like their moments that they go through in life that it's like a roller coaster ride. You go up and down, going up and
Oh
down, up
yeah,
and down. Like
absolutely.
my whole life has been like that. And last year was definitely a fucking roller coaster ride. It was just and pretty much after that, I just like finally at that point, I'm just like really not giving a fuck because like even though I've always said like I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. I have really at that point, I was just like I'm just done. Like I really don't give a fuck anymore. Like, and this was like in the moment of me doing the rebrand of Facelift and everything because Facelift has only been in the works for like a year and a half now,
Wow.
and the last year was supposed to be all the pre-production things and everything getting done, but like due to some things that had happened within like the family and all that, it literally just procrastinated and everything and put everything on a hold. And it also like just mentally fucked me up too. So like I ended up going into like a little bit of a hole and like not being able to really focus on Facelift and like what I really wanted to do with the vision, like
Yeah.
that I had to like inspired to do. And next after I kind of snapped out of it, like in the next 8 to 9 months, like at the end of the year, that's when I started really getting back into like overdrive mode with like working and stuff, and
Yeah.
like making
Yeah.
sure everything that I wanted to do was like on check and everything. And then like at the same time, I was still very what's it called? I'm trying to think of the best term. Self cautious of like what I put out, of like how I looked, because I was very what's it called? Like damn, I can't even think of the terms right now, but it was just like I was sensitive about how others were gonna look upon me. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
when you're in the hole and it's already bad enough when you're in that depressed state and like you just don't want to deal with people's judgments and shit, so you just really just keep to yourself and like
Yeah,
just stay
man.
in the dark.
That is something. But and then the way I view it is very. I mean, I've been through stuff like that too, and it's crazy how looking back on it, you don't think about it while you're in that hole of what it's doing, how
Yeah,
it's changing you, and you're kind of just stuck in that hole, and you're stuck in the clouds. You can't see past the storm. Then, when like a couple years from now, and even at least for me, because mine's been a couple years ago, but like when I look back at that, I'm like, damn, I really didn't know, but now like I'm such a different in a good way. Like I got like to one more level of like figuring myself out a little bit better, and like coming to tune
exactly.
with myself. And I always think about the way I handled it, because there's a lot of times people get into these dark states and they want to handle it, and they want to just don't want to handle it. A lot of times they just try to escape with stuff,
They
and
just dwell in it.
they dwell on it. But I do think one of the biggest things that helped me, I swear to this day, is like I took time. Like you say, you get kind of closed off. And there's like two ways people can do it. Is they can be closed off, but they can still go out and like try to just not
Yeah,
think about it. But then you can be closed off, and yeah, you can still go out here and there. But like, if you take certain days and times to yourself to think about like why, just think about it. Like what's gotten you to this point where you're depressed and you're in the hole and you're in the clouds.
exactly.
I think it's hugely important that you get to know yourself during those times. Like dig deep. Like, dude, I used to tell
Yep.
I've helped friends before, and I've told friends this. Like, I can remember like going like not I wasn't able to sleep, blah blah blah, like up late, overthinking stuff,
No appetite,
no
no
appetite, none of that.
nothing.
But I
Can't
remember
think
like
straight. None of that. Yeah, no,
none of that,
trust me, I
yeah.
hear you.
And I remember going out at night when I couldn't sleep, And I remember like grabbing like a drink, just one drink. Not, I'm not getting plastered. I'm just having one drink or whatever, and I'm just sitting out there looking up. Like I remember just sitting out there, just me, myself, and I, no one else around. I would do that like maybe 2-3 nights a week, legit, not even kidding. And like just sit out there with a drink and just one drink, just sip and like think about shit, think about stuff that's going on, and then I truly believe that helped me figure myself out more. And when I came out of it, I was like better than ever, stronger than ever. Like it was just like a 180 flip. And I'm not saying it took like it was overnight. Like it was like I honestly I think it was like a month, maybe 2 months of it. And they were just I would make sure I had time to myself to think about the shit that was happening. Like what is going on here? Why am I feeling this way? What is it that's making me feel this way? What can I do to change it? And then like boom, once you like hone in on it with yourself, man, the adjustments just change. They start coming to you, and then next thing you know, you're fucking out of the storm. And then 3 years later, you're looking back and you're like, whew, like, damn, I was there. I'm here now. I'm 30 times better than what I was back then. Like, it's crazy though. But I always think that, and I've told people that come to me for advice and stuff. I'm like, you gotta take time to yourself. That's like my number one thing is like, you have to get to learn yourself. If you can't learn yourself and you're just letting your emotions like just guide you, like you're never really gonna get out of that dark place. You might think you're out of it, but like you're not, because you're still gonna have those insecurities, those anxieties that come back and forth. But like when you know yourself, like you're saying about like I don't give a fuck, like you really don't give a fuck because you know yourself. You're like like anyone
literally
they could say anything and you're like okay, that's your opinion. I know who the fuck I am. Like whatever.
like don't get me wrong, like I have boundaries to certain things, but like in the overall standpoint, it's just like I don't give a fuck about what I'm trying to like. Obviously, like I want to portray a storyline and stuff, but I want to be me. Like I want to have no lie. You know what I mean? Like that being said, I literally just want to put everything out on the table and let you guys know what the hell has happened in my life, what I've experienced, the stories, the memories. Because like every time, it's so funny. Every time I have discussions with my friends about things that have happened in the past, let alone like things that I've just done, it sounds like a movie. Or it sounds like a TV show series.
Everyone could have their own movie, man, if it really came down to it. There's thousands
like,
of stories out there
literally
that you could take and like video it and be like, this is the life lesson from this and this and this. Everybody goes through that. I think that's it's just a natural part of existing. You're going through it. You're learning what it's like to be human. I mean, that's really what life is. Like, it's kind of crazy, not to get like crazy into it, but like you're learning how to live life. Like you're just that's all you're doing the entire 90 years is you learning how to just live life. Like you think, and we a lot of times overlook that. Like we get caught up in the day-to-day of working and in the family and stuff like that, and it's like you think you know what you're doing, and then like something just comes and just is like like you don't know nothing.
Literally smacks you in the head.
Literally, like, just literally. Like out of nowhere smacks you in the back of the head, and then you learn more, and you're still going through that life learning from that experience. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like especially going back to the whole situation, like being in the hole and stuff. The thing I also learned with that is like you can say as much as you need to say to that person to help them, but the thing I've learned, especially, I know everyone that's been in the hole. I know, like you can just tell when people have been in the hole. I know you've experienced it. I know I've experienced it. Like all that shit. The only person that can get yourself out of it is you.
I absolutely agree with that, and like I said, and I think that's so vitally important for people to understand is that you have to take time to learn yourself.
Exactly.
You've got to take time, whether it's at night, whether it's during the day. Like, shoot, bro, I can remember times, like I wouldn't do it all the time, but I can remember times like during the week, I would just go watch sunset because I'm here by the beach. I would go out and watch sunset by myself. I would just go and grab a chair and just sit there and just absorb it and be like, wow, this is awesome. And then just enjoy my presence and learn about myself through that. I mean, it's I can't stress that enough with people. And I also wanted to go back for like a quick second. We talked a little bit about like not giving a fuck. There's a big difference between like not giving a fuck and being a dick. Like you can not give a fuck and still be polite, and that's very key because a lot of times people take that to an extreme, and we come out of it and say, yeah, I don't give a fuck, and then they just don't give a fuck about anything. You go totally overboard the other way. There's got to be a little bit of I don't give a fuck about what people think about me and all that, but I'm not going to be a dick if they have a different opinion.
Exactly. No, and I can't disagree with you one bit on that because I'm like you, I already know you see it. I'm like, I absolutely love each individual like person that has been supporting Facelift. Like, I know that kind of sounded dumb. I'm stoned, my bad. But I love every single one of you guys. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And like, being in the scene and like seeing how a lot of people are not interactive with you guys and their fan base or the people that are supporting is like really sad. I'm like, y'all, they're the ones that are making you bigger than what you could have actually been if they weren't here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like the least you could do is like have a conversation, reach out to them, talk to them, respond back to them, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, especially during times like now, because like, like I said, times are negative and dark. Like this is now the times to like
show kindness.
really, show
Yeah,
kindness,
just get
show
it out
peacefulness. And like, that's why I understand where you're coming at with the, the whole don't give a fuck thing. Like the way I look at like, well, don't give a fuck is like, you're going to laugh your ass off with this too. When I was like a little kid, obviously, growing up in the extreme sports side of things, like I also was like a big fan of Jackass and Wild Boys.
Oh, I know
and
Jackass. Jackass is
Viva La
hysterical,
Bam. So that's my version of like not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
yo, you want to like, tie like a
Doing
mattress to the
anything.
back of the truck and mob it down the street? Go for it. Screw it. Like that's my type of not giving a fuck. But it's not to the point where it's like I'm coming across like I'm really not giving a fuck, and it's like, just a douchebag. Like I can't do that to people. There's just like there's just no way in hell, and especially like coming from like a lifestyle where it's been good amount of negativity. It's like you want to steer away from that. You want there to be positivity. You want to be on the same level that it's like-minded like everybody else, and just have fun, be yourself.
Be yourself, live yourself every day.
Exactly. Just lift your face back, show your true colors.
Lift your face back, show your colors. Let's plug in our own like words real quick.
Like, literally, on some real shit.
But that's not. I mean, obviously that's not the point. But the point, yes, I absolutely agree with that shit, man. I love that. I love the name. I love what the name stands for. I love the person behind it. You're killing it on that level, man. We got really off topic there in a sense, but that was awesome. I love conversations that can go deep and stuff like that. It's needed every time, and you never know when we do talk about that stuff. We never know who we're helping. We never know.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it. Is like when I do this podcast, I want it to be open discussion. I want it to be like this. We just went head deep into like the fucking depression area of our lives and talked about it and how we came out better. Dude, someone could pick this up tomorrow and listen to that and be like, holy shit, I fucking needed that. Like, it's crazy. And I always, that's something another thing is like when people do go through this stuff, I think it's so important to talk about it. You should be able to talk about it. That's when you truly moved on from it. You've been able to talk about it in a logical sense and put words to it and see that like, hey, I've gotten out of it. Like, you're not scared of it. You're not scared of it. You're literally just talking about it. It's not going to come back just because you're talking about it,
Exactly. Like, and that's how it has to be. Like, I want to let people know that even though you go through these like traumatic experiences that will, jeopardize your mentality and make you feel a certain way and like not be able to go about society the way you want to, you have to remember, yes, it's going to be like that, but there's a process for you to improve yourself and get back on track to where you need to be in order to overcome that and be a better self.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn, that was on point.
Yeah, absolutely. End it right now. End the show. Turn it off.
Nail the coffin.
But yeah, man, I absolutely agree, and that's freaking awesome. Let's move on a little bit here. Let's get back a little bit on track. So we're talking about your origin story and stuff like that. Let's just go. Who's your favorite DJ? You gotta listen. Obviously, you got into EDM. Who sticks out in your mind as your favorite? And then maybe the other question would be is like who got you and where you're like I kind of want to do more of this. Like who did you hear and you were like this is dope.
Okay, that's deep. So out of everyone I have seen perform, I want to say the most impressive was Uzi.
Uzi?
Yeah.
Okay.
He threw down like a motherfucker. And it was great too because it was an all vinyl set, and he was also doing his own VDJ work at the same time with the visuals in the background on the screens while wearing a fucking mask. And I'm just like, how in the fuck?
Dude, the people that wear masks, blessed, I don't know how they do that either. I have no idea.
I'm
like Bear Grylls, Marshmallows, like how y'all seeing that stuff?
Yeah, on some real shit.
BTSM, they're all up there with a fucking tiger mask on. I'm like, all three? Really? All fucking
Well, they
three.
definitely got air conditioners. They got little fans in their helmets. I know that, and they're like little battery pack ones and stuff. But that can only go so far.
That,
You know what I
you
mean?
know
And it's
what?
not going to be comfortable.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, you really
I
think you're going to be on stage
dude,
without
I
the fans?
never thought about it till just now. Never
How do you
thought
think the
about it.
characters at Disneyland and stuff stay cool?
Dude, but you know why I know that? Because like in like I remember like in high school and stuff, our mascot there was nothing in there, bro. A person who was in there
That's
just
high
fucking
school.
sweat.
They
But
don't
dude,
care.
that's my thought. Is like every mascot's the same. Every mascot's the same.
Yo, that got me dead. That's
I
so
never
funny.
fucking ever thought about little fans, and I have a little fan. I know what you're talking about too. Never in my life did I think about that.
Yeah, no, they just put them on each side and it just pretty much like cools off their head during the whole set, like whatever time duration they need.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought they were up there roughing it this entire time.
Like, come on, like haven't you seen Marshmallow with the LED helmet? Like, if he's got an LED helmet, I'm pretty
That's
damn
so
sure
true.
he's
If
got
they have
some
lights
fans
on
in
it, they all have lights on it. They gotta. All right.
Yo,
You caught me there.
that's funny.
But that's crazy. So Uzi or Ooze, you said? Sorry,
Uzi.
Uzi.
Yeah, he
Was
threw
that-
it down. It was great.
Now, who was your first TJ that you ever saw? Everyone's got an origin story that goes that far back. Who was the first that you saw live? Because I remember I always had people I liked. I'll give you some time to think about it, and I'll tell my story. I always had people I liked, but the first time I went to a festival and like saw somebody, I saw like Yellow Claw, Elenium, Snails, and then Above and Beyond, like in that order.
Okay.
It was a fucking great night. It was good. There was a lot of people. It was a very, very different variety of people.
That's when it's the best.
Oh yeah, closing out, and that was when I saw Elenium back when he was doing only more vibey stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like there was no hard. Like there might have been one or two songs that were hard, but it wasn't hard at all. Like there was no dubstep in it. It was straight, just like I'm gonna cry and like,
Straight melodic vibe.
straight melodic, fucking like just hitting you up from all around. That was the best. To this day, first set and best set I've ever seen. I just can't get over it. Getting goosebumps over here. And then Above and Beyond closing it out. Above and Beyond, yeah, same type of vibe. Melodic, just very chill, like touch your heart kind of music. Love those guys. Anyways, go ahead. What's your story? Little tangent there.
Oh shit. I want to say this was the first show I ever went to EDM wise. I want to say it is. I cannot recall, but I'm just gonna say it is. It was back in 2014, and it was called 420 Fest out here in California, and it was such a random ass fucking event. It was just like it seemed like a rodeo spot, to which was like interesting with like these buildings as well, to which was kind of nice. But they didn't have like it in the rodeo spot. It was just like in the buildings, and big ass parking lot in the middle of fucking nowhere in like San Bernardino, and it was Funcase, I think TYDI, Castlevania, like a bunch of Lax.
Damn,
There's a bunch of
some
people,
names
but
I
I
haven't heard in
mainly
a
was
minute.
going for Funcase, like dead ass. I'm gonna straight out. I was going for Funcase.
Funcase.
I was like, oh shit, Funcase is throwing down, fucking down. And all I remember was like we raged till 3 o'clock in the morning. Event ended. Had to do a 3-hour drive back home. Obviously, I was fucked up. Thankfully, I did not drive. Got to a Denny's at 8. Ate food.
Those are the fucking nights. Those are the fucking nights. To me.
And next thing you know, wasn't able to eat the food because, I'm not going to say it flat out, but, jaw problems. And
Oh my god.
next thing you know, I forgot about my food and I left it on the top of my friend's car, and I remember he pulled out and just blew up all over the front side of the fucking car, all over the window.
That's the end of the night.
It was
That'd have
the
been so
funniest
funny to
shit.
me. Oh, yeah.
It was like the longest night ever, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is great!"
I have this-
I definitely want to keep doing this.
I had this video, and I don't recall where we were, but I had this video of us back at a little while ago, and it's like same thing, same scenario, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's like this video of his to-go box like fell over in his car, and he's like trying to clean it up, and all you see is like him grab like the chicken. It's like it was chicken parmesan. You see like the chicken parmesan, and in the car, you see it in the car, and you just see it like he just chucks it like behind, like he just like that's all the video is. It's to me, it's the funniest thing ever in the world.
Why did he throw the food?
I have no idea. I think it's spilled in the car or something. I have no idea.
He was probably having jaw problems too. Low-key.
The issue was he just like threw it. He just threw it out. Like the whole video is like you see him like cleaning, you don't see what it is, and then you just see the chicken parmesan come out of nowhere behind him.
Holy shit. I'm dead. That's so funny.
So
but yeah, no, that was the first time I ever really went to a rave. I guess they considered it a music festival. Yeah. I don't really think it was a music festival. That counts.
First rave, first
music festival ever was Hard Summer 2014 too.
Nice.
And it was the last music festival too. I've only been to one music festival, which is fucking hilarious. And and I think because like the reason why I've only been to one music festival is because like I still kind of can't get over the first one I went to, which was in 2014. It was literally like my own fucking hangover movie. Mixed with a little bit of Project X.
Yeah, just everything going crazy.
Oh, yeah. Everything just happened all in one day and one night. And it was just like, it was the first day of the fucking festival. And I'm like, dude, it's not even day 2. Like, what is happening? Like, holy shit.
That's fucking everybody, bro.
Literally, everybody goes into it hard the first day. And it's funny as shit because, like, you come back the second day and you can just see it in everyone's face where they're just like, yeah, I'm going easy today. I'm like, Advil.
That look of like I slept in and just got here at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Literally, but it was tight. I'm like, it was a cool lineup. They had Jack U, Martin Garrix, Kill the Noise, Nails, DJ Sling, fucking like the list went on. Dylan Francis, Nero. And my dogs are being crackheads.
That's all right. It happens. Little puppies.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Second. I don't understand why. I love my dogs, but my goodness, they are very vocal. Yes, children, I hear you. I love you. And it's UPS. Okay. Okay, children. Kill children.
Oh, my God.
Just yell at them. That'd be so nice. All right, you're going on an adventure with me for a little bit. Hold on one sec, my bad. This makes the podcast even more fun.
This is absolutely, this is the first it's ever happened. We're out here, you're walking around, you're just picking up packages.
Yo, literally, I don't even know what it is. It says Shutterfly. Have you ever heard of that? Completely off topic.
I think that's like a photo thing. Like they put your photos together into like a montage or something.
Just like, I am not endorsing their company. I am not sponsored. I am just talking about it.
Fact check. We do not sponsor Shutterfly on this podcast.
I know, right? Oh, my goodness. Oh, now my dogs are calm because they're like, oh, it's not a person. It's a box. Yeah. No way. Really?
Is the box for me? Is it for me? Is it for me?
I know, right?
Can I play in the box? Please, please, please. That's like cats.
All
cats
right.
are like that. Cats are like love boxes for some reason. They like love the way it feels in their claws or something. I don't know. Every time I see cats with boxes, they go fucking going crazy. They're just grabbing it. They're in it, like just hitting it everywhere. Anyways, off topic. But what's up? You're back. All right. Show wise, what show? How many shows have you done? Do you have any particular show that you remember being awesome?
Any particular show that I remember being awesome?
How about how many shows have you done? You love getting up there. What's it like for you? That's a better question. Forget about how many shows you've done and all that. Like, what is it like for you up there? How do you feel? How does it make you feel being up there in front of the crowd, throwing it down?
It's a surreal feeling. It's honestly a surreal feeling because like I went from the perspective of throwing it down on a dirt bike track, trying to impress people.
Yeah.
To now being on stage on decks, throwing down,
and
trying
you're the
to
only
impress
one
people.
up there. Yeah.
So it's definitely it's a different atmosphere, but it's like I came accustomed to it so quickly, and like I remember right after like the first gig I ever had, and it was funny. Like it was some bullshit show at the Avalon, not the venue. The venue was beautiful. It was the company, and they had me perform in the sidebar, which is not even a stage. It's literally like the bar for the VIP for like the actual main stage, which is fucking hilarious. And I remember like I had like a little Pioneer DDJ SB controller with my shitty Dell laptop with Serato and all that, and threw down like a 45-minute set. But it was so great because like I remember after that first time I ever like just touched basic controller and just like in an environment as to that, like I absolutely fell in love. I was just like, damn, I wonder what it would be like to actually have a full on crowd. You know what I mean? And then I worked my ass off, and this was all with OG Wild Boy, and then like I had some shows where there were just like full capacity, but like in a
Yeah.
small venue too, which was really cool because when it's in a smaller venue, when it's like 100 to
The
200
energy's
people,
there.
it feels a lot closer. Like you guys feel like a lot closer as a community, like in that environment, and you end up raging fucking super hard, which is super sick,
Dude,
and it's
absolutely.
absolutely ridiculous. And it's like I said, it's honestly a surreal feeling because like you really can't portray yourself with like the way you want to feel that day or any other day into your set. And like when I do my sets, it was funny because when I first started doing mixes, like before I even started performing with the whole bass parade bullshit,
Right.
I always used to pre-plan my sets. I always used to be, I'm gonna do a minute 45 of this. I'm gonna do a minute 30 of this. I'm gonna do a minute 25 of this. Blah 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 blah. And then like I just got to a point where I was like, that makes no sense. Like I get it, but that's just like it's stupid. Like mixing should be for like how you feel in the moment, like
You
what
should
you
just lift
want
your
to
face
do
up
and
and
how
show your true
you
colors.
want to have fun. You know what I mean? So like normally what I'll do is like I'll just start off with like one track. And then after that first track, I'll freestyle the rest of the set.
Yeah,
As
man.
long as I'm
You gotta.
familiarized with my songs and I know what they sound like and stuff, I'll try to do shit and just do different stuff.
Yeah, man. You gotta. Lift that face up and show your true colors up there.
Exactly. Have fun. Like literally, you took the words right out of my mouth. Dead
Boom.
ass.
That's awesome. Do you have any like traditions? I love asking this question. Do you have any pre-stage traditions? You're on the side. They haven't called you out yet. You know you're getting on the next 10 minutes. Anything you do.
Before I get on stage, what do I do?
If you don't have one, you don't have one. But do you have a
No,
tradition?
I definitely do have one, but it's just multiple things because it's weird because like I said, like each set is like how I feel that day and how I want to like. It's just like I obviously want to go hard every single time, but it's just like how I want to go about it. You know what I mean? Because I look at it as like a strategic warfare. Like,
Right.
oh, how am I going to go into this building and be able to conquer all the enemies, let alone take over the base and then be able to be number one? Wah! You know what I mean? Twitch that was super fast, like I wanted to say. It's so funny, and it's funny because like normally like my pre-ritual for a show is smoking a blunt. Literally, that is it. I'll
There
just
you go.
smoke a blunt,
That's a
and I'll just
pre-ritual.
be like, okay, cool. And then obviously the venue allows me to smoke weed inside. Then I
Even
will
better.
definitely be smoking on stage. I'm not gonna fucking bullshit on that. I will definitely be sparking up, and I usually will have like one beer. Other than that,
One
that's it. Like I
beer.
never drink hard liquor at a show.
Gotcha. Yeah, you never know. It might be up there and you're missing keys all of a sudden and no idea what's
Actually,
going
I
on.
take that back. I will drink hard liquor if it's after my set
That's different.
and if it's only like a couple shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here and there. You got it. I mean, you're still there, so might as well enjoy it.
Exactly. I don't know how many times I've like done a set drunk and it works or it doesn't work. I don't want to take those chances.
I
I want to make
agree.
sure that every set is perfected.
I totally couldn't totally understand that. I know some people that actually have stage fright have to do it. They're like, I gotta get up there with it. I gotta have a few shots in me or I'm
Oh yeah.
donezo. I will freeze up. But I'm with you on that. I don't think I personally think if I was up there on stage and all that, there ain't no way I could do that with a couple shots of me. I think I'd be fine, normal. I think I would be up there killing it as I am right now.
It's interesting. I'm like I've had times where I'll be up there and I'll be like straight buzzing or like somewhat drunk and I'll be like so into it. I'll be like, oh yeah, this is so great, and I'll be headbanging and like I'll complete the set and it sounds good. And then there'll be times where I'll be like not even 25 minutes into my set. And like from me headbanging so hard, I gave myself fucking motion sickness and now I'm starting to get nausea and now I don't feel good and I don't want to drink anymore. And I'm just like, oh shit.
I wonder how many people that's happened to where they're up there and they're fucking about to puke. Now that's another question I'm gonna start asking people if they tell me their tradition is drinking before. I'm going in on that question. I'm curious. Do you have any? I always like to give a little bit of advice if I can to in these podcasts. So, is there any advice for producing wise that you might, if someone was trying to get into it, they might come and they have no idea. What would your maybe baseline advice kind of be to like just get your nose in the game?
Take it upon yourself to learn what you need to get your mind on the screen to create your craft. That's the best. Like, I know that sounds like very detailed and complex, but um what I mean by that is like when I started doing music production and everything, I never went to school for this. Like I pretty much
Yeah.
self-taught myself, and I had friends help me on the side, let alone little tutorials here and there on YouTube and stuff, to which was very helpful. But like me being the person I am, like I said, I have ADD and ADHD, so anything that intrigues me, let alone is button pushing or playing with some type of control or
Uh-huh.
doing something, you know what I mean? It automatically grabs my attention and I want to learn more about that topic. So like when I dove into Ableton, I was just pressing shit and I was just learning the terminology that
Yeah.
came along with it, because they actually do have like a help thing
Okay.
in Ableton. So like every time you come across like a certain thing, it actually explains that individual instrument or audio effect or like MIDI plugin or whatever it does, you know what I mean? Arpeggiator, saturator, all that bullshit,
Yeah.
EQ wave, multiband dynamics. I can go into the details, but it literally, like, you can just use that alone just to help you with the terminology to actually get a better understanding of not only what it means, but also what the fucking name of the actual thing is. So if you actually do end up being in a conversation with somebody, you don't sound like a complete dumbass and be like, yeah, I'm doing this, and it sounds
Dude,
great.
it's funny you say that because I've like started to look up stuff myself because I'm doing these podcasts and I'm like, it's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna have to know, almost like I am DJing, but I'm not physically DJing. Who knows? Maybe I will down the road. But I gotta start and learn that shit myself just for that reason. Because it's like if we start talking, if we really dove into it right now, I'll be honest with you, there ain't much I know at the moment. But like I gotta get to a point in myself where I do know that stuff, and we could have a video one day about tutorial and on Ableton and stuff.
Appleton.
I just called it Ableton. See, my point precisely is what I literally just proved it.
I'm dead. The way you said that, it's Ableton.
I know.
Appleton.
Ableton, right? Ableton.
Sounds like a city in fucking Lord of the Rings. We gotta go to Appleton.
Hit it away. My point, though, exactly, is that I've started to do that shit myself because otherwise I'm going to be up here saying that shit for the rest of my life looking retarded.
No, I'm like, that's understandable. It's never bad to learn it. You know what I mean? And if you ever do become more intrigued one day to actually like step forth and want to make music, then you'll have a better understanding of what the hell you're diving into.
And it's not even for that case of making music. It's just, but like, absolutely, I agree. But that's awesome. That's great advice for people. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Do you got any new songs and new albums coming out anytime soon, man? What you got for us? I loved your shit so far.
Albums right now.
I know you got a lot of singles.
EPs.
Give me
yes.
an EP.
Singles, yes.
All right. EP. How many songs?
As of right now, maybe? I'm doing one EP with 3 tracks on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first ever. So I'm like really taking my time with it and actually like really wanting to show a vision of like how I want to like best represent the EP and like what I want it to envision, let alone like all the weird, creepy, trippy shit that I, want it to have.
When do you think we could expect this EP?
There's no date on it.
Ooh.
I'm like, I don't want to put a date on it right now, to be honest, because it's still in the works, and it's like I want to make sure that when I do give a date, it's literally to its full peak of perfection, and I don't have to like literally dive back into it, fix shit, or even touch it.
I'm gonna give you 6 months. Moving on from that. Hey man, well, I fucking hope it comes out soon. I hope I can get to hear that shit, and we can do another one of these podcasts when that comes out. But dude, we did a fucking hour. I gotta get going myself. So I hate to even end this because I've had such a fun time talking. But I hope you come on again sometime, and all that. But I gotta get going, unfortunately.
No worries. I completely understand, and thank you so much for having me. And I would love to be back on. I'm like, you're absolutely super fucking chill. You're humble as hell, and I
Dude, I
love having these
appreciate you as
conversations with
well.
you. I'm like, you're very open, Jacob, and I love that. I'm like, keep being you, and remember, always lift your face back and show your true colors.
Absolutely, man. And you live yourself for every day.
Exactly.
Well, we'll do one. We'll do one where maybe we can just not a producer thing. We'll just have one maybe where we can just chat about anything. So
Yo, I'm so down. We just gotta put 18-year-old content.
yeah, 18 plus. All right, man. Peace.
Peace.